My name is Susan McEachern. I'm an editor at Rowmand and Littlefield Publishers, and this is my fourth time coming to the conference, and I found it an incredibly valuable experience both for my own knowledge and for my authors. We in the United States tend to have a somewhat parochial view of Eastern Europe, and even specialists, academic scholars, have found that they benefit from Polish perspectives on their projects. And for the project that I presented this year, it was especially valuable because the author was not able to attend because of his age, but he was a participant in the Warsaw Uprising and a member of the Polish underground. And we had United States reviewers of the manuscript, but having Warsaw locals who were familiar with the uprising and with Poland's current history and more ancient history, they were really able to provide a perspective that an American reviewer couldn't provide. So I found it immensely valuable for the level of detail that they were able to provide and the granular criticisms of particular facts, particular interpretations, particular analysis. In the case of some of my earlier projects, I have a couple of textbooks that are coming out in new editions based on the critiques that the Polish scholars have provided. One was the European culture area, which is by a European geographer. And he was able to incorporate much more, not only about Poland, but also about other Central and East European states into what had been primarily a Western European narrative and analysis. So we essentially extended eastward into the true heart of Europe with the new edition of that book, and I think that will be immensely valuable for American students. Another book that I presented was A Concise History of Modern Europe. And again, the author had been very focused on Western Europe. And we brought him here for an evaluation of the previous edition of his manuscript, and the new book will be published next month, as a matter of fact. And because of not only the feedback from Polish scholars here, but also because of the travel that we did, the parts of Poland that we got to visit as on that trip, he was able to really have a firsthand experience of what Polish history would bring to the new edition, and really the implications for Polish history on European history writ large. I think one of my most satisfying experiences was presenting a new edition of Doris Bergen's War and Genocide, which is a history of the Holocaust. And it's a very highly respected textbook, and the specialists here thought very highly of it as well, but they had some wonderful suggestions about adding a more visual dimension to the history. So they were able to suggest many sources for photographs, for primary documents that Doris could include in the new edition, and also use them as a visual narrative, not just this is a picture of what I'm talking about, but the illustration tells us something. We can analyze this illustration, this photo, why it was taken, who the photographer was, and what that tells us about the history of this particular event. So I find that they bring a variety of perspectives that really enrich a new edition of a textbook.